beautiful day today. Heidi's on the steps. Gotta get out here. Oh, sorry. The door's creaking, so I was trying to hurry it open. So, what's today?
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Of course, your Thanksgiving may look totally different than ours. We've got 82 degrees?
Yeah.
80? Yeah, 82 degrees.
No rain today.
No rain today, but believe it or not, we have coastal flood warnings out because of extreme high tides, which is a strange thing.
Plus it had rained for so many days.
Yeah, we did have quite a bit of rain. So that's what we're going to do on the video. We'll be popping up on the screen here occasionally talking to you about what's happening. But we want to get you caught up for our Thanksgiving and what we've, maybe some thankful stuff, definitely. And kind of our thoughts of what's going on, what we plan on doing, and are those plans going to change? So let's get into the intro and also a word from our sponsor.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
Thanks for Discount Lots for sponsoring this video.
Discount Lots is a place that you can buy a piece of property that will allow you to afford a different type of lifestyle. Now in our case, we're staying at the Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida. And believe it or not, you could buy a piece of property just an hour and a half away from here. And your weekends could look like this potentially. So let's give you a little bit more detail on these kind of lots that you can pick up, keep things cheap because you're buying direct from the people that own the lots. No dealer fees, no realtor fees, no extra cost. And all you have to do is click the button and start making payments and you own land. So
There is no credit check.
yeah, no credit check at all. Just get on their site and start clicking, looking at properties. There is a code, a discount code. It is RVDaydream 10. If you decide to purchase, use that code. It's down in the links in the description, and that's going to give you a percentage off of your purchase. Guess what? 10% off of an already really discounted rate. So let's go to Discount Lot's site and show you a little bit more what we're talking about. When you get to their website, you're going to find that they have quite a few tools you can choose from. This will help you get to the property that you want. I mean, there's property even in Hawaii. Once you choose your property or find the area that you want to be at, they have some pictures. They recommend that you actually visit these sites before you purchase them because pictures can be deceiving. But once you do find a place, their people will get in contact with you. All you have to do is just go through the property details, determine if that's something that you're willing to do. There's a lot of information that you can use to contact your local utilities to that property, find out if it's going to work for the use that you want to use it for. But once you have gotten all that information, you decide to purchase, it's just no matter, just making a payment. That's all you got to do. You just got to make a payment and that property's yours. DiscountLots.com. It's a way that you can do it.
So the clip you're getting ready to see here is us leaving Tampa from the second hurricane that came across, and we hid away over there, which you've already pretty much seen that video. Heidi's doing the black tank flush. I don't know if you can hear that. We're doing something normal finally. We're not running from a storm. We're not heading to another location that we've already paid for one spot and we're going to go pay for another spot or anything like that. We are just heading back to our winter hideaway, and everything should go normal today. Let's see if that happens. I think the reason that the park didn't have as many people in it as what we're used to seeing, which I talked about in the video, is because it wasn't the weekend and the storm kept everybody at bay. Heidi's been up for a while.
Yeah, 7 something.
She got up at
6:30.
She got up at 6:30 and I got up at 6:32. Actually, I just got up. Just wanted to tell you guys, whenever you're backing in your site, when you're moving forward and moving back, if you're not on a highway, if you're not holding up traffic, if you're just in a park like this, there's no rush. Take your time backing in. Take your time pulling forward. there's no rush. You shouldn't have to touch your gas pedal but just a tiny little bit. Well, they need to mow.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just watched some people pull in and back in, and I'm telling you, it was like they had to go to the bathroom really, really bad, and they've been driving for hours. Just take your time. There's no sense in it.
No rush.
No rush. No rush. I don't care if you even are a weekender and this is just your weekend trip.
Who cares if everybody's watching?
Yeah. Don't be embarrassed. Everybody's backing into these sites for the most part.
Well, since we're heading back to Vero, we decided to stop at Jimmy's Deli or Jimmy's Marathon or whatever. Michael had catfish and I had chicken livers. They were pretty good. We're heading back to the old standby place.
Well, the weather sure does look nice in front of us. Blue skies for as far as the eyes can see. Put that little left of center there. But we've got about 20 miles till we get back. We're not gonna take the way the map tells us to take. We're gonna turn somewhere else. But every once in a while we got dips in the road. Ready?
Oh! I can see where the car's bottomed
The
out.
thing is this camera smooths out the road quite a bit. It has all this optical stabilization and digital stabilization, and it is an action cam. But oh man, I can't even hold this thing still. It's just every once in a while, just dips in the road. Like I don't even know what, to tell you the truth. It's what happens when you build on sand, I guess.
Once we got back to our campsite, our winter campsite, we definitely fell behind on a little bit of maintenance that we did, just by a little bit. We had to look at our water system just because it was time. Florida's water's pretty rough, and that's what you're getting ready to see here, us showing you our best setup after 3 years of full-time and testing and experimenting. This is definitely by far the best water setup that you could get, and we can show you some maintenance too, and pretty standard maintenance. So that's what you're getting ready to see now. It's time for the anode rod. This is the only thing that I never liked about the Suburban hot water tanks compared to the Atwood that we had in our 1992 Terry camper. That one came with an aluminum tank that has a coating on it, so you don't need an anode rod. And I've talked about this in the past, and the reason that I don't care for anode rods is they're a sacrificial piece that takes care of kind of keeping the tank protected from being attacked by all the minerals and the chemical electrical process that attacks the tank and causes it to corrode faster than it would if it was, let's say, aluminum. And in this case, they put an anode rod in there, and what happens is that process attacks the anode rod instead of the tank. Now the problem that I have with that is, as that rod starts deteriorating and falling apart because it's being attacked, all those deposits just fall in the tank. It just falls down inside the tank, and now you're left with a bunch of debris that's inside the tank that could potentially find its way into your water system, your plumbing throughout your RV. Now, even with what I just said, this sacrificial rod that they have that's in place to not attack anything but that rod, this heating element still gets nailed. It still gets attacked a little bit. It starts to deteriorate itself. So the whole idea is kind of stupid, I think, but it's been like that, done like that for years. I mean, even your household hot water tank has an anode rod in it, most likely. So the size on the socket that you're going to need is 1 1/16.
So I want you guys to see all of this that's coming out. You see this? This is the old anode rod, and that's what I was talking about. You have all of this stuff being introduced into your water system. It's horrible. I hate the design, but this is something they've been doing for years. It's just I think personally a horrible design. It gets the job done, but I wish they would just change the tank design so they didn't have to do this. Like, again, Atwood. Now, look at this. There's where all that crap's coming from. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, oh, that anode rod is still good. There's no problem with it. I know. You can get this thing to where it's just down to nothing. You know, and what I mean nothing is just a little skinny rod, the whole length. But we need to flush this out. It's time. There's a lot of buildup going on in there. Example of that, but look at these chunks. Now, some of the scale is from the tank itself. You know, some pieces that are coming off the tank. But yeah, this is something I just don't care for it. I just think it's a horrible design. Now, they make a rod. I should say a rod. They make a wand that goes in there that you can rinse all that out. This is back when we still lived at home with our very first travel trailer. I made my own. This is an old brake line, a hose. That's the way I do it. But they do make one. So I suggest you buy that wand because you're going to need it to rinse out your tank. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Here, watch, I'll make it come out easier. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is take this wand, hook it up to the hose, turn on my water, and spray in there and rinse it out as best as I can to get the rest of the debris out. Alright, so you can see the difference here between the rods. So this is, of course, what it started off like, and this is what it ended up like. Pretty deteriorated, and a lot of that is down here now. There was a lot that came out. So for you guys that think, oh, maybe I should be able to get away with just, flushing it out a little bit. Just get the wand and do it. You'll be just shocked by how much actually comes out of here. It needs flushed. Trust me, it just needs flushed really well. We're going to go ahead and put this back in here, and I guess I will fill the tank. I don't know. I've got mixed feelings. I mean, right now the system's not pressurized or anything, so yeah, maybe I'll just go ahead and rejuvenate the softener before I fill this full of water. I want to talk to you about something that we've had for a while now, and this is awesome. This is Blue Technology. This is their water filtration system. Look at all their hoses, these nice stainless braided hoses. You can see I just run one here, although this is much longer. I have all this and this. I could actually buy another section of this and have enough to run it all the way to the back. It's finally time for us to rejuvenate our water softener. Whenever we talk about it, everybody wants to know a lot about it. The link is in the description. If you click the link for Blue Technology, it'll take you right to everything you need to know about this. But I'm going to tell you what you're already asking. What does all this cost? It's $1,000. This whole system is $1,000. Would I pay that? Yeah, I think I would pay $1,500 to $2,000 for this system because it is far better than what we had before. What we had before, which worked fine, which I want to talk about that, in good terms. We had a clear source water system. The problem with it was just bulk and weight. So this is very lightweight, even with water in it. I mean, I can lift it with just a couple fingers. It's not hard for me to do at all. Thing is, with that clear source, that thing stood about this tall, so it took up this much more room. It was extremely heavy. It was all steel, and because it had those extra big canisters, which, by the way, filter the exact same amount of water as these over a period of time. So this can, let's say, go 6 months before you change the filters, maybe even longer. So did the other one. We don't see any filter change difference having this shorter, lighter design. But it also, I could have never put that clear source in here because this
this floor, it's not really supported. This is all plastic. I don't know if you can tell, but it's just a plastic thing here that this sits in. Well, this is so light, I can just leave it in here. It's not going anywhere. The other thing is the water softener that comes with this one is so much smaller than the clear source one. The clear source one, which I did have mounted in here, it was about this tall, and it was about this much bigger around. And guess what? Same thing I just said about this. Same with this. This softener does the same amount of softening as that bigger one that Clear Source offered. This was just a better system all the way around. And then to top it all off, by far, they have all these quick disconnects. So when I go to do the softener on this, I just have to not unscrew anything. I just have to disconnect these and bring the hoses out in the tank, and we'll do the juvenation process or rejuvenation process out here somewhere. But the whole idea behind the softener being smaller and lighter, and the water filtration being smaller and lighter, and having these nice quick disconnect hoses with the stainless, no kink design. This again was a no-brainer. I mean, even that Clear Source system, that one was, if I'm not mistaken, we were approaching like the $800 range for that system. For a couple $100 more, you can definitely get a much nicer system. Okay, so the top, I neglect to tell you, it's just a unscrew. You just loosen it. You're gonna fight with it a little bit. This is the only downfall that I see to this whole system, which I've talked to them about that, and that is the threads that you're going to be threading up through. It has that media on it because it is a different setup than the Clear Source, and there is a rod that you got to be cautious of. You can see here that the media will attach to also. So you're going to want to clean off the threads. Just clean off the threads here, and of course in here along the edge, to make sure you keep as much media in there as possible. Now if you accidentally tip this on its side or dump it or do something crazy like that, you can buy this media. I mean, it's not anything that's unobtainable. I think you'd just rather not, tell you the truth. Now, you don't have to take this completely out. You just have to pour the salt in at this point. I mean, it's not a big deal, but that's up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with. Whenever I put it back together, the post that goes to the bottom and all that, it was a little bit difficult to put it back in. So what I suggest is you just take the unit, kind of lay it at a 45-degree angle, and just rock it back and forth, maybe roll it a little bit, and that'll clear out enough space. As you're trying to put the cap back on, it'll clear enough space for the pickup tube or the discharge tube, however you want to look at it, to get and find a spot, make a spot through that media and the salt. Now normally when it's just media, it goes in real nice and easy, but the fact we have salt in there, it's kind of making a little bit of a glue thing. This, again, because it has quick disconnects, makes it so much easier. At this point, I'm going to run this thing about 20 minutes, 24 minutes or so, and the water is just going to be coming out at a trickle. When I say a trickle, just like just a small stream, a very, very small stream, the size of like a straw, what would come out of a drinking straw that at a fast food restaurant or something. It's not very much, and you're going to do that for about 20 minutes, and what that does is introduce water across all that media and through the plumbing that's inside to allow that salt to work its way around all of the media and rejuvenate it, to remove all the contaminants that this thing's captured or has treated, I guess you could say. And then once it's done that and had enough time, like I said, about 20-25 minutes of doing that, then at that point you'll turn it on, and it'll take about
well, as quick as 2 minutes and as long as 8 minutes maybe for all the salt to get out of there. And what I do is I just, at that point, just check the end when it's running at full pressure, just to check it and see when I don't taste salt any longer. I know at that point it's safe for this to go back up into the RV. So let me go ahead and start that trickle process, see if we can show you what that flow looks like. Again, because of all these quick disconnects though, you know, I can just do what I'm doing now and I don't have to worry about trying to rig it up or anything. And it's going to take it a while before it becomes a steady stream. Right now, go ahead and pull this back a little bit so we can see it a little better on camera. And of course I have a shutoff valve here that's connected to my water system that I can utilize right about there. That's about this water stream that you want to see. Now, word of caution, the water that's coming out, it's got salt in it, so don't do this into your plants or into your flower beds or your gardens or anything like that. Be aware of whatever landscaping might be at the campground, because you are introducing a lot of salt water directly onto vegetation, so just be careful with that. Right, now that I've done this for 25 minutes, I'm just going to turn this to full force and allow the water to run until it no longer tastes or there's any trace of salt in it. Okay, all hooked back up just like it was before. That's all there is to rejuvenating this thing. So we're good for hopefully another 6 months like it has been. Even though Florida water is not the best, this thing does a really good job with it. Now, of course, my hot water tank is filling up, so I got to go pull that valve like I showed you before. We'll let that water fill to the top, and then we know we're good to turn on our hot water tank element. So you can see all I'm going to do here is just pull this valve. You can hear it hissing. That's forcing all the air out, and water will start coming out here shortly. And we know then the hot water tank is topped off to the top. Now, you don't have to do it this way. If you want to, you can run all your faucets inside. You can let the air come out that way, but I just prefer to do this at the source since I already had this opened, and know that it's full. That way I feel comfortable with it. And there you go. You can see the water come flowing out pretty good here. Got a little bit of air. That's what this shield's here for. It's to protect all the burner and everything, so no issues there. But we're pretty much done here.
Once the maintenance was done, kind of sitting around looking at each other, decided that we wanted to try something a little bit different, and we went big and got to head out to the casino. Got a great room. This was overlooking the city of like Davie, Florida, and Fort Lauderdale, and Hollywood, Florida. And I know that it's kind of hard to tell, but this is in the part of the guitar that, you know, it's got a guitar-shaped hotel, and it's the part that is kind of like the waist of the body, I guess you could call it. I don't know what the technical name is, but what a great place. So we'll show you some clips here of what that looked like. And yeah, I had a great time there. We had a very fun time, and like always, we checked out a little bit early. Even though we were going to be there initially 3 days, we decided to check out a little bit early. So that catches us up to Thanksgiving. And again, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We're thankful that we are here in the middle of the winter. We're thankful that we're not cold. However, we did kind of pick up a cold, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
Little
sinuses,
I don't know,
or
allergies? Yeah, something strange. Beautiful area, beautiful weather. We say that every time. We have plans that are in the makings, sort of, and it's in the early stages. And I will tell you that you guys can put in your guesses in the comments. Be more than happy to hear from you. What you think is going to happen versus what may or may not happen. And all the hint is at some point in my life, I expect to have to deal with snow. Let's just say that. That's it. This video's going on long enough.
As always, we hope to see you out here. Bye.
Bye.